Have you ever sat down on a Sunday afternoon to plan your week and felt like an absolute genius? You probably know the exact feeling. You drink a clean glass of water, maybe some green tea. You open your laptop, look at your trading charts or your business goals, and you write down a perfectly logical, totally unbreakable set of rules. You calculate your risk. You decide exactly how much you are willing to lose. You tell yourself that this week will be different, clean and professional. You feel like a monk. Then Wednesday arrives. You enter a trade. The screen flashes red. The numbers start dropping, moving further and further away from that brilliant plan you made. And suddenly, it feels like another human being simply reaches in, takes the mouse from your hand, and ruins everything. You widen your stop loss. You double your risk. You break every single rule you promised you would follow just 3 days ago. You sit there in the glow of the monitor, watching your money vanish, wondering why you keep doing this to yourself. You probably think you are weak. You probably think you lack discipline, or that you just need to try harder next time. That is exactly what the self-help industry wants you to think, but it is a lie. Chemically speaking, the person who made the plan on Sunday is dead. When real money and real risk are on the line, your brain floods with a stress hormone called cortisol. This chemical completely alters the blood flow in your head. It drains the blood away from the logical, thinking part of your brain and floods the primitive, survival part. Within seconds, you are transformed from a rational adult into a highly emotional, totally irrational animal trying to avoid physical pain. You do not lack discipline. You are just a biological glitch. Society tells you that if you just want it badly enough, you will stick to your rules. But society is ignoring the fact that you are operating heavy financial machinery while under the influence of evolutionary drugs. You are essentially drunk on adrenaline. It is completely unfair, and it is not your fault. You are trying to use a brain designed for living in a forest to manage a modern financial portfolio. So why do you keep breaking the rules? We have to look past the surface. On the surface, you think your problem is focus. You buy books about habits. You watch videos about morning routines. You think if you just wake up at 5 in the morning and take a cold shower, you will suddenly become a cold, calculating machine. But cold water does not change your DNA. The deeper reality is that you are quite literally operating as two entirely different people. The Sunday planner is safe. The Sunday planner has a low heart rate, no money at risk, and all the time in the world. The Wednesday trader is under attack. The Wednesday trader perceives the dropping numbers on a screen the exact same way a caveman perceives a predator in the bushes. To your nervous system, losing money and bleeding to death are the exact same thing. When that stress hits, the prefrontal cortex shuts down. That is the part of your brain responsible for math, logic, and long-term planning. The amygdala takes over. That is the part of your brain responsible for screaming, running, and panicking. You are a hijacked vehicle. You are relying on two completely different chemical states, but you are expecting the exact same logical outcome. It is like expecting a man falling out of an airplane to solve a math equation just because he studied it on the ground. It is never going to happen. This brings us to the most dangerous, widely accepted lie in modern culture: the idea of trusting your gut. Every movie, every motivational speaker, and every pop song tells you to listen to your heart. They tell you that your intuition is a magical compass that will guide you to wealth and happiness. Your gut is an idiot. Your gut instinct is a prehistoric alarm system. It was optimized thousands of years ago for one single purpose: to keep you comfortable and alive until tomorrow morning. It was meant to make you run away from rustling leaves just in case a tiger was hiding there. Your ancestors survived because they were cowards. That was very useful in the woods. In a modern, data-driven world, your gut is perfectly designed to make you broke. Think about what your gut actually tells you to do when you are trading or running a business. When a trade goes against you, your gut tells you to hold on to it. It tells you to hope. Why? Because actually closing the trade and taking the loss causes immediate emotional pain. Your gut hates pain, so it convinces you to wait, hoping the market will magically turn around and save you. It tells a very comforting story while your bank account bleeds dry. On the flip side, What happens when a trade is finally winning? Your gut panics. It tells you to close the trade immediately and take the tiny profit right now. It does not care about your long-term risk-to-reward ratio. It just sees a small piece of food and wants to eat it before someone else takes it. What you call intuition is really just disguised fear. Your feelings are not some higher form of intelligence whispering the secrets of the universe to you. They are active saboteurs. They are designed to protect your immediate comfort, completely ignoring the fact that building wealth requires intense, sustained discomfort. Trusting your feelings in a high-stakes environment is a very confident mistake. So, if your feelings are the enemy and your biology is rigged against you, how do you fix it? How do you stop feeling? You have probably tried the standard advice. You probably tried to master your emotions. Maybe you started meditating. You sit on a comfortable mat in a quiet room. You close your eyes, and you focus on your breathing. You feel very calm. You feel like you have finally tamed the wild animal inside you. Then the market opens. A high-impact news event hits. The chart violently spikes in the wrong direction. Your screen flashes red, and in exactly half a second, all that calm breathing completely evaporates. The stoicism disappears. You are right back to sweating, swearing, and clicking the mouse like a maniac. You fail because you think willpower is the answer. You think you just need to build a stronger mental wall. But willpower is a naturally depleting resource. It is like a battery. You use a little bit of it when you skip a donut at breakfast. You use a little bit more when you sit in traffic without yelling. By the time you sit down to make a serious financial decision, the battery is dead. You cannot out-meditate your biology. Emotion will always win a war of attrition. Elite performers know this. They know willpower is a scam. They do not try to become better, stronger people. They simply assume they are going to break. They treat themselves like a liability. Instead of trying to feel less, they build what is called a digital straitjacket. They outsource their discipline to a cold, unfeeling machine. This is where we look at a highly specific solution, a tool called the Alpha Equity Manager. It is important to understand what this is not. It is not a magical robot that trades for you and makes you rich while you sleep on a beach. Those do not exist. This is a behavioral enforcement mechanism. It is a piece of software designed for manual traders who know their own brains cannot be trusted. The software operates on one core, brutal philosophy. It assumes you are going to lose your mind, and it plans accordingly. Let us look at exactly what happens when you enter a stressful situation using a digital straitjacket like this. You are in a trade. The market is turning against you. You are getting dangerously close to your stop loss, the exact line in the sand you drew on Sunday. Your heart rate is rising. Your palms are sweating. Rational you knows that taking a small loss is part of the game. It is the cost of doing business. But hostile future you is waking up. Hostile future you does not care about the business plan. Hostile future you wants to win right now, at any cost. You stare at the screen. You tell yourself a little story. You say, the market is just testing my patience. It is going to reverse any second now. I just need to give it a little more room to breathe. Just 10 more pips. You move your hand to the mouse. You click on your stop loss line. You try to drag it down, exposing your account to a massive, irresponsible amount of risk just to avoid the pain of losing. This is where the Alpha Equity Manager's time-locked vault steps in. When you set up this software on Sunday, you define your maximum daily loss. You define your maximum lot size. And then, you define a specific window of time when the software will actually listen to you. Usually, this is late at night, when the markets are closed and you are calm. Outside of those hours, the vault is locked. So, it is Wednesday. You are panicking. You try to drag that stop loss down. You try to change your maximum loss limit in the settings so you can keep trading. The software looks at your frantic emotional input, and it completely ignores you. It registers that you are trying to change the rules outside of the allowed hours. It instantly rejects your command and reverts the settings back to their locked state. You can click the mouse as hard as you want. You can scream at the monitor. You can feel all the panic, fear, and anger that your biology wants you to feel. but your hands are tied. The machine always wins. You have successfully treated yourself like a hostile intruder. You recognize that the panicked version of you is essentially a hacker trying to destroy your net worth, and you built a security system to keep yourself out. You are forced to sit there, completely helpless, while the software executes your original, rational plan. You are trapped inside your own good decisions. This is what true discipline actually looks like. It is not fighting your urges with a heroic display of mental toughness. It is architecting a system where your urges simply do not matter anymore. You surrender control to the math. You let the algorithm absorb your panic so your bank account does not have to. But fear is only half of the biological trap. We are taught that fear and greed are the things that ruin us. But there is a third emotion, one that is much quieter, much happier, and significantly more dangerous. It is the feeling of winning. You hit a winning streak. You take a trade on Monday, it hits your target. You take another on Tuesday, it hits again. Suddenly, you feel a deep, warm sensation spreading through your chest. You look at the charts and you feel like you can see the matrix. You feel incredibly smart, completely untouchable, and vastly superior to the millions of other people trying to do this. You are completely delusional. What you are actually experiencing is a massive flood of dopamine. Dopamine is the chemical your brain releases to reward you for finding food or surviving a threat. It is the chemical of euphoria, and in the financial markets, dopamine is significantly more dangerous than fear, because fear makes you freeze, but dopamine makes you aggressive. We call this winner's tilt. You win a few times and your brain decides you are a genius. The careful, paranoid risk management that got you those wins suddenly feels boring. It feels like training wheels. You want to go faster. So, you look at a chart, you see a terrible low probability setup that you would normally ignore. But today, you take it. You take it with double the volume. The market does not care about your winning streak. The market crushes you. Within an hour, you give back every single dollar you spent the last 2 days carefully extracting from the market. You sit there, staring at a negative balance, realizing that you just paid a massive financial penalty simply for being in a good mood. Happiness destroys consistency. This is why the Alpha Equity Manager includes a daily profit shield. On Sunday, when you are cold and rational, you set a specific daily profit target. Say 2%. On Tuesday, when you hit that 2%, the software does not congratulate you. It does not tell you to keep going. It forcibly closes all of your active positions, and it completely disables your buy and sell buttons for the rest of the day. You stare at the screen. You see another perfect setup forming. You calculate how much money you could make if you just took one more trade. You frantically click the buy button, fully intoxicated by your own success, begging the terminal to let you back in. The casino kicks you out. The software secures your funds and forces you to walk away. It completely neutralizes the baseline high. It proves that the goal of high performance is not to feel happy and passionate all the time. Passion is exhausting. The goal is to reach a state of absolute, unbreakable emotional neutrality, a baseline zero. You let the machine protect you from your own joy. But even with time-locked vaults and daily profit shields, the human ego is incredibly resilient. Your ego will always try to find a loophole, and the most common loophole is the silent mistake. The silent mistake is taking a trade, feeling very confident about it, and deciding not to place a stop loss at all. You tell yourself a very logical-sounding lie. You say the market is volatile today, and you do not want to get stopped out by a random spike. You tell yourself you will just watch the trade manually, keeping a close eye on it, ready to click close the exact second it goes bad. You are just delaying pain. Placing a stop loss requires you to physically type in the exact price where you admit you are wrong. It forces you to mathematically schedule your own failure. The human ego despises this. It physically hurts to look at the screen and acknowledge that your brilliant idea might lose you $500. So, we leave the trade open. We leave it naked to the whims of global economic events, convincing ourselves that we have the reflexes of a fighter pilot and the emotional detachment of a monk. Then the market drops, we freeze, The loss balloons to 3 times what we planned, and the account dies. To solve this, the digital Straitjacket utilizes a stop-loss police system. When you open a new trade, the software immediately checks to see if it is protected. If you try to sneak a naked trade into the market, a countdown timer starts in the background. 60 seconds. You have exactly 1 minute to overcome your ego, accept that you might fail, and attach a stop-loss to that position. If the timer reaches 0, and the software still does not see a stop-loss, it does not warn you. It just kills the trade. It instantly closes the unprotected position, eating the spread and shutting down the risk. You do not have to conquer your ego. You do not have to read ancient philosophy to learn how to accept failure. The software automates your ego death. It executes the loss with cold, robotic efficiency, entirely removing your fragile feelings from the equation. This brings us to the final, most uncomfortable truth about high performance. Society constantly feeds us a myth about the top 1%. We imagine hedge fund managers and elite operators as genetic freaks with iron discipline. We think they sit at their desks, heart rates perfectly flat, feeling absolutely no fear or greed as millions of dollars move around them. We assume they simply have better willpower than we do. They do not. If you go into any institutional trading floor in the world, you will not find people relying on willpower. You will find risk desks. A risk desk is an entire department of people whose only job is to monitor the traders and instantly cut off their accounts the second they breach their limits. They do not ask the trader how they feel. They do not care about the trader's intuition. They simply unplug the machine. Elite performers do not have magical discipline. They just have heavier locks on their cages. They understand that the person who makes the plan on Sunday is the only person who deserves to be in charge. The panicked, fearful, overly joyful animal that shows up on Wednesday is a threat to the business. True discipline looks exactly like surrender. True discipline is not white-knuckling your way through a panic attack, hoping you do not click the wrong button. It is looking in the mirror, admitting that your emotions are a biological hazard, and building a structural wall between your feelings and your money. It is architecting a system so ruthlessly strict that your emotional failure is simply no longer a variable. Your feelings do not matter. They are just old software running on outdated hardware. Stop trying to outsmart them. Stop trying to outmeditate them. Tie your hands to the mast, lock the vault, and let the math win.